In the early 90s, heavy music was going through a massive collection of good music. Grunge had conquered the airwaves, thrash was evolving or almost disappearing at points, and standard radio rock felt increasingly commercial and started to slightly appear more. It was still a great time. Then came Tool. Emerging from the Los Angeles underground, they were a band that didn't just play music, they constructed complex psychological puzzles. While they aren't a band that drops music every year, their studio album, Fear Inoculum, arrived in 2019, followed by a brilliant reimagining of Opiate 2 in 2022. Their legacy was truly cemented 3 decades ago. Today we are diving deep into an absolute monolith of progressive metal, an album that sits comfortably in the top 10 of 1996 and arguably of the entire decade. We are talking about Ænima. To understand the sheer magnitude of Ænima, we have to look at what came before. Tool were a band that was formed in 1989, and in 1992, Tool gave us the raw aggressive punch of the Opiate EP. A year later, their debut 1993 studio album Undertow proved that this wasn't just your average metal act. Tracks like Sober and Prison Sex showed massive early signs of brilliance, blending heavy riffs with deep, uncomfortable psychological themes. And by the way, this album, Undertow, is an album I love. Like, if you ask me what my favorite Tool album is, I would go Lateralis, but every Tool album is worth your listen and they're pretty much amazing. But back to topic of hand. But 1995 brought a pivotal shift. Original bassist Paul Diammer departed the band. Entered Justin Chancellor, former bassist of Peach. Chancellor's arrival changed everything. His fluid, tone-heavy and effects-driven basslines became a perfect counterweight to Adam Judd's textural guitar work and Danny Carey's polyrhythmic drumming. When Ænima dropped in October 1996, it wasn't just a step forward, it was a quantum leap in musical skill, creativity, and spiritual ambition. Let's break down this masterpiece track by track. The album opens with a masterclass in tension. Stinkfist hooks you immediately with incredible guitar and bass interplay, topped by Maynard's pristine vocals. And look, while the internet might chuckle at mishearing the intense pre-chorus as "Cough 99, I need more," the song is a brilliant commentary on desensitization. The bridge is pure psychedelia, tribal, rhythmic, and hypnotic as the drums and guitars lock into a primal groove. The music video? Equal parts creepy and hilariously surreal if you catch it on a YouTube thumbnail. It's an instant classic that brings life to your soul. Next is Eulogy, a track that was musically so far ahead of its time that its industrial clicking intro inadvertently predicted the sound effects of an iconic cartoon sea snail 3 years early. Beyond the memes, the slow burn intro builds into an absolute powerhouse. Maynard's commanding, shouting delivery in the bridge is unforgettable, giving every single instrument its moment to shine in a flawless mix. Then we arrive at H. For many, this is a top-tier all-time favorite Tool track, for me at least. The dynamic contrast between the clean and distorted guitars is stunning, but it's a bridge that completely steals the show, building a melodic crescendo that carries the same raw emotional weight you might find in later alt-rock masterpieces like Linkin Park's Valentine's Day, in my opinion at least. Lyrically, it's deeply personal, dealing with Maynard's anxieties about fatherhood and breaking generational cycles of trauma. It's a beautiful, harrowing, perfect piece of art. A brief interlude follows with Useful Idiot. There is a brilliant, unbothered irony in listening to the crackle and pop of a looping vinyl scratch while streaming it digitally or playing it on a CD. A perfect palette cleanser. 46 and 2 is a track that grows on you until it completely consumes you. Centered around Jungian psychology and the evolution of human consciousness through confronting our shadows, its main bass riff is legendary, so iconic that you can hear its DNA infusing the riffs of bands like Linkin Park decades later. The track builds into a towering heavy climax that leaves you breathless. Message to Harry Manbach provides a surreal juxtaposition. A beautiful, wintry, melancholic piano piece placed behind a real, vitriolic answering machine message left for Gary Helsinger, a former roommate of Maynard and Denny Carey. The enraged caller, later identified as Francesco Sonoyo, inadvertently became part of rock history, even writing a book about it later in life. The title itself nods to the legendary comedian Bill Hicks, creating a bizarre, dark comedy sketch wrapped in a beautiful melody. Then the album punches you right in the face with Hooker with a Penis. No, it's not a Liz Phair lyric, it's an aggressive, biting response to a fan accusing the band of selling out. Maynard's vocals are venomous, the rhythm section hits like a freight train, and the guitar solo perfectly mimics the vocal melody of a verse. It closes out with a chaotic, aggressive, South Park-esque parting gift, "Fuck you, buddy." Fuck you, buddy. I'm not your friend, buddy. I'm not your pal friend. And it's ironic that South Park came out like at least a year after the Tool album came out, so it's kind of hilarious. Now that I think about it, is Tool responsible for making good TV shows? I don't know. Intermission plays like the ultimate eerie yet also Halloween fun-esque elevator music on an organ, seamlessly teasing the melody of the very next track, Jimmy. Jimmy is a heavy emotional anchor on the album. It tackles the profound trauma of Maynard being 11 years old when his mother suffered a paralyzing aneurysm. The pain, fear, and ultimate resilience are baked into every heavy bass line and crushing riff, turning sorrow into pure sonic adrenaline in the best way possible. Now let's talk about Die Ear von Satan. On first listen, the industrial compound triple meter beat, the hydraulic press sound effects, and the fiery German delivery by Marco Fox makes it sound like a terrifying militant rally. But Tool's legendary sense of humor shines through here. The lyrics are actually literally just a recipe for traditional cookies. It's a brilliant artistic joke about context, presentation, and how easy people can be misled by tone alone. Push It is one of the longest, heaviest, and most desperate journeys on the album. Chronicling the numbing, exhausting decay of a toxic relationship, the track brilliantly uses quiet, dark spaces to let the music breathe before exploding into an agonizingly beautiful bridge. And yes, amidst the darkness, the internet still loves to mishear the climax as sci-fi space snake. A testament to how fans find joy in even the most intense Tool soundscapes. And I love it. While the jarring baby cries of Cesaro's some ability might break the perfect streak for some, it serves as a chaotic birth into the album's definitive title track, Ænima. Driven by an incredible rhythmic pocket from Justin and Danny, the song uses a metaphor of a massive apocalyptic flood, akin to Noah's Ark, to wash away the superficiality of Hollywood, celebrity culture, and clueless politicians. The bridge, featuring cascading back vocals singing Learn to Swim or I Could Swim depending on your ears, transitions into a serene, rain-soaked prayer before culminating into one of the most climactic, breathing-led outros in rock history. After the static thunderstorm atmosphere of negative ions, we reach the final boss of the album, Third Eye. Clocking in as the longest track, it begins with a poignant tribute to the late, great Bill Hicks and his philosophical views on psychedelics. The song is a staggering audio depiction of forcing a spiritual awakening to heal childhood trauma. From the hypnotic in-out whispering sections to Maynard's glitching, frantic vocals screaming, "Prying open my third eye," the track feels like an epic battle against a mechanical monolith. When the final samples fade out, it feels as though the boss has been defeated, and a profound sense of spiritual clarity has been achieved. Overall, Ænima is an album that demands and earns a near-perfect score. Discovered by new generations of fans every single day, it stands as a monument to what heavy music can achieve when a band refuses to make the same song twice. It is full of uncompromised effort, terrifying creativity, in a good way by the way, and there's sometimes a wicked sense of humor. As we look to the future, waiting eagerly for whatever sonic journey Tool decides to take us on next, we can always look back at 1996 and smile, because Ænima didn't just stand the test of time, it defined it. If you want more video discussions like this where we celebrate the absolute legends of rock and metal, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But look, we aren't only praising the masterpieces. If you want to see the complete opposite side of a spectrum, make sure to check out my ongoing series, The Landfill Collection. I've already done 2 episodes breaking down those awful, overhyped or poorly aged albums, and there are plenty more on the way. If you want to support the channel and help shape these videos, I have a Patreon in the link down below in the description. As a patron, you can suggest bad albums for me to look at, and yes, I'll give them a fair shake unless I secretly think they're actually decent. And you get to vote on exactly which albums I cover next, whether they're good or bad. For now, I'm heading back to the studio to prepare a massive run of positive reviews. I'm tackling 4 to 8 of my other all-time favorite albums celebrating major milestone anniversaries this year, turning anywhere from 5 to 40 years old. We're talking Stain's Break the Cycle, Sepultura's Roots or Dante XXI, Stone Temple Pilots' Shangri-La Dida, Typo Negative's Slow, Deep and Hard or October Rust, Tool's Lateralis or 10,000 Days, The Cure's Faith or The Head on the Door, Rise Against the Sufferer and the Witness, and Gautier's Making Mirrors, and so much more. Head down to the description, check out the Patreon, and let me know what you want to see next. This is MFast's Noise Stuff. See you on the next one.